Okay, let's try to get an explanation of problem 22 in chapter 3. So, for each of the following situations, identify the measure of central tendency, mean, median, or mode that would provide best description, the best description of the average score. So, situation A. A news reporter interviewed people shopping in a local mall and asked how much they spent on summer vacations. Okay, most people traveled locally and reported modest amounts, but one couple had flown to Paris for a month and paid a small fortune. So that's one couple. One couple. So what do we call that when there's just one of the sample that has an extreme value? Okay? We sometimes call that an outlier or extreme value. I think that's the key to this problem. So let's take a look at some of the details we outlined for when to use each of these situations, or when to use each of these measures of central tendency. What jumps out to me is that if we look under median, we'll see a situation where it says we ought to use the median when we have extreme scores. And that's what we have here, extreme scores. This might be also sort of considered a skewed distribution with extreme scores. So, number A, we'd use median. So we will make up for the fact, or account for the fact, for extreme score. Okay, it's just really one extreme score, that's why. Okay, now let's look at letter B. Okay. Marketing researcher asks consumers to select their favorite from a set of 4 designs for a new product logo. Okay. This is non-numerical, right? Non-numerical. Just going to give a name or maybe even an ID number for this. So that means we can't calculate a mean, all right? Median can be used in situations where you have some sort of scale. There can be a little bit of flexibility at the ends of the scale, and that may be why you might want to use the median, but there needs to be some sort of scale. There needs to be some sort of order to things. In this case, there's no order, right? We have sort of a nominal scale in the case of part B. Okay, so we'd say for part B, we're going to choose a mode, and the reason being that we have a nominal scale. Literally, no quantity or order. Okay, and now let's look at part C. A driving instructor recorded the number of orange cones that each student ran over during the first attempt at parallel parking. We have a number here. It's good to know that each student ran over during the first attempt at parallel parking. So in this third case, since we have a number, we could use the median. We could use the mode, but it's likely that this distribution is not skewed. So it's not like the median is going to give us anything special that the mean couldn't. There's no undetermined values. or any open-ended things going on. And it's not an ordinal scale. You have a number. Okay? So the mean is calculable, and it's not likely that this distribution, as I said, is skewed. It's probably somewhat symmetrical. There's probably a pretty clear average value. So in this case, the mean makes the most sense. It's calculable, and makes sense. And when I say makes sense, of course, I'm not trying to just be evasive on a reason here. When I say makes sense, I mean it makes sense numerically. Like there's a putting the numbers into a calculation makes sense.